So starting this whole YouTube channel endeavor for me has led to me learning some amazing and surprising things about photo and video. And that's not just coming from a guy who can count literally on one hand the number of times he's even held a camera. And so in the whole process of learning about photo and video and the art of all of it is learning about the concept of lighting. To me, that seems like a topic that a lot of people might neglect in the early stages of their learning, like something that's kind of accessory or secondary and not the most important thing. But as I'm watching these videos and experiencing the fact that when I look at them, it feels like I'm just looking at them as if they were in person, and then finding out how they're using their lighting, you begin to realize that the use of lighting doesn't just dramatically affect the way you look to the camera, but it also ends up affecting the way the camera looks at you. That search and that learning for this topic has actually led me to finding a product that I thought was really cool. This is by no means a new product. It's been out for about 2 years, I would say. But the feeling I got from it is that it's one of those things that's probably an oldie but a goodie. Not to mention the fact that I just am a sucker for tight engineering and a well-crafted product. So without further ado, let's crack into it. This is the Aputure AL-MX LED light. It's a battery-operated LED light that has adjustments for temperature, and it's actually the successor to the AL-M9, which was also a light that's been highly recommended by so many professionals and experienced photographers and videographers. But this is supposed to be the upgrade to that. So let's get into it. Open! All right. So we've got paperwork, we've got some stickies here. This gives you an idea of the versatility. Oh, there's actually an extra cover in there. Looks like a diffuser from the cover that's already on it. Pretty cool. All right, we've got a pouch in here as well with a carabiner. This is clearly a carrying case and it's got some compartmentalization in there, which is pretty cool. All right, what else we got? There is a very nice touch. We've got a hot shoe mount with a ball head. That's really cool. Ooh, this is actually pretty heavy in a good way. It's very solid, feels like, as I said, a well-crafted product. It's made of what feels like aluminum. There's a heat sink here, an indicator not only to the care that they put into it, but also how much power this thing's gonna put out. So that's really cool. And then on the bottom, it's got the threading here for the mount. Mount that to a tripod. You can just put it on top of your camera if you're running and gunning. And one of the things I've seen in a lot of the videos, which I loved, is this diffuser right here is attached by magnets. I love that. There's something about things that are attached magnetically that's just really, it feels like it's the future of screws and fastening. I just think it's really cool. It's a really, really nice touch. And then you've got all the LEDs right over there. So let's go through the buttons real quick. You've got your on-off switch. You've got your boost button. You've got the LEDs that give you the battery life indicators. And then you've got something here which says CCT and dim. So the CCT is the warming and cooling effect. Now the M9, which was the predecessor, had warming and cooling, but in the form of just a gel attachment. So this would have been the neutral light, so to speak, and then you would have a warm gel that you could put on or a cold gel. And that's really just those three settings. But the thing that's cool about this is you can switch it to CCT, adjust the warmth or the coolness of the light, and then switch it back to dim, and the cold and warm buttons now become brightness setting. And then last but not least, you have a USB-C charger. Which again, I mean, using USB-C is becoming more and more of the standard, but especially for a product that's about 2 years old, putting a USB-C on a product, I feel like is an indicator of how much attention they actually put into the product. And it's a very high-end touch to me in my naive mind. So here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and on. That's pretty significant. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually currently at the lowest brightness setting, and you can see right here you've got the blue LEDs that are lit up saying it's fully charged. Why don't we go through the rest of the functions? So there's the on-off switch. You've got the boost button, which is going to, yeah, that's pretty significant. And then you've got the CCT, as we said, which takes it to warm and to cold. I'm gonna bring it right to the middle here. And then you've got your dim, which is going to adjust the brightness. So I'm pressing the minus button. We're at the lowest setting. We're going to bring it up, 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 up. That gets pretty bright. Now let's see if it actually boosts from the brightness. Yeah, so even above the highest brightness setting, it actually still boosts a little bit. I don't think the boost actually stays on during the whole time. All right, so I put it back to the lowest setting of brightness, and now I'm going to hit the boost button. I'm going to leave it right here while we talk, and we're going to see if that stays on. So from what I understand, on a full charge, on the lower end of the brightness settings, you can get about 4 hours of battery life from this one single charge. If you were to use it at the highest setting, you'd probably get about an hour, which I think is still a significant amount. And as you can see from how bright this thing is, you can do a lot with this especially when you're in a pinch, when you're traveling, when you're out of a light or whatever. But even if you're not using it as a key light, you can absolutely use it as accent lighting behind you to highlight something in the background. But why don't we see, at least for now, what this does in a daylight setting? Why don't we just bring the camera up a little bit? All right, so that's in boost mode with a middle of the road temperature setting. I've got my exposure at 0 right now. I'm gonna drop the exposure. So my exposure is now at minus 1.5, and that's a little bit unnecessary with natural daylight. I mean, the best thing you ever want to do is film with natural lighting, right? The whole point of these lights having a warm and a cold setting and lights being called day lights is because it's the best light to have. And so you want to try and mimic that. And so while in a normally brightly lit room in the middle of an afternoon, a sunny afternoon, it seems a bit pointless for me to be turning this light on and dropping the exposure. But I think what you can get the sense of is that this light can accommodate for poorly lit areas, and with the amount of power it's putting out, if you don't have a dedicated key light, this can certainly do the job. Not to mention, it's just a really cool product and it's really versatile and it can be used in other areas, so you're not exactly wasting your money, even if you have the intention to get a dedicated key light in the near future. I'm super psyched about this thing. I mean, I can't wait to use it in all these different ways. I mean, I've been trying to use my floor lamps with the shades off just to get some level of emotional lighting, but I'm super excited about what I'm going to be able to do with this and all the different ways I'll be able to use it creatively as my skills progress, which is a progression that you guys are all going to share with me and watch me go through, for better or for worse. But let me know if you have any ideas or any experiences with this type of light. Definitely put in the comments whether you have any other suggestions for me or anyone else in the community, and let me know if you found some value in what we've talked about and if you plan on maybe getting something like this and what you might use it for. And of course, if you got any value out of this, or just if you're feeling generous, definitely please squeeze that like button till it turns blue and subscribe if you've got nothing better to do. But until the next time, which hopefully will be soon, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sharing in this unboxing with me, and I will hopefully see you soon and eventually get a better outro than this. Take care.